All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the July 13th, 2022 meeting of the Auburn School Committee. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before you sit down, can I ask that you remain standing? This past week, the Auburn community lost, and I'm going to try to say this without breaking up too much, but the Auburn community lost an outstanding human being this week. Elfrida Fournier passed, and we want to take a moment to recognize her outstanding dedication to this community. And if you were fortunate enough to know Elfrida, then you were a very blessed human being. So we'll take a moment to remember Elfrida. Godspeed, Frida. Thank you, everyone. All right. So let's begin with the introductions down here to my right, please.
Dan Poisson, Ward 5.
Ryan Belknap, Ward 4.
Carissa Perez Armendariz, Ward 1.
Pam Hart, Ward 2.
Karen Matthew, Ward 3.
Connie Brown, Superintendent.
Eric Gaudier at large.
Mark Conrad, Business Manager.
Sue Doris, Assistant Superintendent.
All right, and Pam Albert and Jason Levesque both have excused absences for this evening. All right, let's begin with a motion to approve a motion for the consent agenda this evening, which includes tonight's agenda, the approval of the June 15th minutes, as well as the certificated nominations of Michelle Schubert, Alana DuBois, Kelsey McNamara, Danielle Peterson, Teresa Alacoca, April Berry, Matthew Conrad, and Kimberly Stearns. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Brian. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Pam. Questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes. Congratulations, Michelle. Welcome to the Auburn School Department. Welcome. And to everyone else joining the Auburn School Department as well. All right, let's open it up for public participation. Do we have anyone here from the public who would like to address the school committee? Seeing none, thank you. All right, let's get to our presentation this evening. So, Mr. Chris Piercy, can I ask you to come on up, sort of in the middle right in here. Oh, yep, going in. For those folks not familiar with Mr. Chris Piercy, Chris joined us just prior to COVID happening, I think. Just prior to COVID. So having to figure out a new job, a new school system, and then navigating through COVID and everything that he had to navigate through. And miraculously, this man is still with us today. So you have done some outstanding things for the nutrition department. So from the bottom of our hearts, we absolutely thank you. And in addition to that, your department is also being recognized. So I do want to take a moment to read what you have been recognized for. So Chris and his staff are being recognized with the Local Seafood Spirits Award. The Gulf of Maine Research Institute is recognizing 7 New England public school districts with the inaugural Local Seafood Spirit Awards. These schools met their pledges to serve local seafood to their students over the past 2 years. And because of their efforts, over 10,000 students in New England enjoyed healthy local seafood in their school cafeterias. Many of the participating districts had not served local seafood before. They faced challenges with staffing, finding local suppliers, securing products, all within their budget. So because of this, we have now introduced seafood to more than 10,000 students and hoping to make it a part of their regular diet. So with all of that and all the challenges that you had to get through to do that, we congratulate you. The only other school, I believe there may have been 1 or 2 others from Maine, but other than that, we congratulate you on this. So thank you so much, Chris, to you and your staff for your outstanding achievements, your tireless effort, and valuable role in building the foundation of our children's future through nutrition. So thank you so much. raw oyster bar, though I gotta get you my phone number, okay? All right, moving on. We do not have any school committee student reps here with us this evening, so moving on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you very much, Chairperson Matthew. The first item under my report is water testing in each of our schools. I'm going to defer to Mr. Conrad, who has the latest information regarding the water testing.
So as you know, the state a while back required schools to essentially test every faucet in their schools for the presence of lead. They set the action level at 4 parts per billion, and as a reference point, the federal level is 15 parts per billion, so it's a very low action level. We met the initial deadline for test results, getting them into the lab. That's since been extended, but we've tested all of our schools. The results are coming in. We received the first results for Edward Little last week. Now, under the statute, we have 5 days to post the results to our website and inform our school community, staff, and families that they can access the results there, and we are pursuing that. The next step will be to, as these results come in, to take out of service the faucets where there are elevated lead levels, and they will remain out of service until such time as we can repair them so they're in compliance. The exception may be Edward Little, where we may keep them out of service and bring in bottled water if that becomes a less expensive solution. We received 4 more results today from Fairview, Franklin, Park Avenue, and the middle school. I think we had 55 faucets at Edward Little that were out of compliance. We've done better among the 4 other schools combined. There were 42 total among the 4 schools that were out of commission, so we're doing somewhat better with our other schools. We will be sitting down with the city, our management team from the city, at some point soon, and working up a plan with a consultant for making the repairs to those individual faucets and putting them back into service, and we'll keep you apprised as we have more information on that.
Mark, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Is it from the main water line to, is it the piping, or is the lead from our connection to the main water line to our buildings, or is it, do we know where the source of the lead is coming from, I guess?
The next step for those elevated faucets is to pursue a testing protocol that helps you identify a little bit more closely where it might be, because it could be in the faucet itself or it could be in the lines leading to the faucet. So we'll pursue the next round of testing for those elevated faucets and see if that gets us closer. But that's where we really need the consultant to then come in and help us identify the steps you take to work that through. I think it's a thorny issue because it could be the piping, it could be the soldering that was used.
Right. Replacing a bubbler may not take care of the issue with the line.
Well, and the issue could be that it's in the bubbler itself or in the faucet for the bubbler, or it could be the line leading to the bubbler. Okay. And there's a protocol you can use in testing it where you can narrow down where that lead might be based on how long you run the water.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mark. Yes, ma'am. You need your mic.
Yeah. Are you noticing that there are more, the lead is higher in the older schools than in the newer school like Park Ave?
We definitely saw more in Edward Little, but I'm not necessarily seeing a pattern. In fact, I would have thought in Park Ave we might not have had any faucets, being a relatively new school. And in fact, we had 9 there that failed. We had 14 at Fairview. We had 16 at Amherst Auburn Middle School. So, and just a few at Franklin. So it's consistently smaller number at all of our schools, regardless of the age.
So obviously with Edward Little and a new Edward Little on the horizon, you know, we want to be really fiscal about where we put our money. So are we going to get a bid before we decide to do anything as far as any kind of construction or any mediation of these bubblers? Because you said we could maybe bring in water. Are we going to find out what that is before we get too involved?
You mean from water companies?
Well, whoever's going to fix
repairs?
this, whoever's going to mediate the water
for
issue.
the remediation of
Yeah.
the faucets. I expect that'll be part of the discussion. We need to sit down with a consultant and understand what the steps are we would have to take, and I expect that would be part of the conversation. We want to look for the least costly approach, and that's why at Edward Little, I've already spoken to Principal Lanier about beginning to look at where those faucets are and looking at maybe bringing bottled water where it's critical and not trying to do anything with those faucets for the year, just keeping them out of service.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we haven't budgeted for this, by the way, nor is there any state aid for this.
Well, that was my
piece.
next
The
question.
the testing is free, but anything beyond that is at our cost. So we'll have to also look at how we work that through the budget, since it wasn't planned.
And it's mandatory. It was a mandatory thing that we had to test that as well, right? From the
It was
state?
mandatory that we had to test it, and I think we're taking the approach it's mandatory, we have to fix it, given the concerns.
Okay. Any other questions for Mark? All right, seeing none. Thank you, Mark.
You.
Okay, the next item on my list is just an update on staffing and vacancies. As you could see from the list of hires tonight, we are beginning to really populate our folks for the next year. I talked to Dr. Doris today. We estimate we have a total of, 46 new hires. We're about halfway through, and these are professional teaching positions. I say this with the caveat that the list changes almost by the hour. As people, you probably saw in the paper today, take positions with other districts, and the later it goes in the summer, the more difficult those positions get to fill. So I will update you again in mid-August to give you a sense of where we are, but we still have classroom teaching positions that we need to fill. Any questions about that? Next up on my list is just an FYI. August 3rd, which is 2 weeks from today, we will present the NWEA, or what I call the Nuia, testing results that were done this spring. Each of the building principals will go through their grades and give you the results of how their schools did from the spring assessment. And then lastly, where's Mr. Wilson? Mr. Wilson, stand right up. I want to recognize you and welcome you to the Auburn School Department. We're thrilled that you're here. You've hired an amazing, yes, hooray. I want to say that Ben has really hit the ground running, even before he started, which was officially July 1. I know about the middle of June, if not before, you were already hiring and looking at staff and talking to folks, and he has done a number of in-person interviews over there. So welcome. We're very happy. And Michelle, again, I want to echo the earlier sentiment. We're very pleased to have you on board. I think you'll both be a great team over there. So thanks. That's it for me.
All right, thank you. No school committee chairperson's report this evening. Mayor's not here, so no city council update. There have been no committee meetings to my knowledge because there's no agendas and no minutes on here, so I'm going to assume nothing there. No old business this evening, which brings us to new business. Entertain a motion to award a contract for repairs to and painting of the exterior of Washburn Washburn School to Elliott Mead Contractor. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Pat. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brian. Questions, comments on this one? This did go out for bid, but obviously contractors who are sending in bid quotes right now, smaller and smaller and smaller, but it did go out to bid. That's a typical question, so I just wanted to make sure you knew that. Any other questions or comments, debates? All right, call for a vote. All those in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. Upcoming meetings are listed. August 1, Health and Safety. August 3rd is a regular school committee meeting. August 11th is the Finance Subcommittee meeting. Future agenda items or requests for information, ladies and gentlemen? Seeing none, you know how to get a hold of me. All right, and at this point, I need to entertain a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA 4056A for the purpose of evaluation of the superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Pam. Have a
Second.
second. Thank you, Brian. All right, all those in favor of entering executive session? We are in executive session. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. But just so you, listen, welcome to my party here.